Welcome to AirArtStudios. I'm Paul MacDonald. This is my video on how I maintain and clean my airbrush. Let's get to it. So first up we have the pipe cleaner, followed by the cleaning buds, and then a dental toothpick. These are handy for the cups. We have the Iwata wrench to remove the nozzle, followed by sharpen air pads to polish the needle. I have an old needle here that if I find stubborn parts in the airbrush I can use to pick out. I use a pair of tweezers to remove the nozzles and parts from the cleaning solution that's coming, and I use beeswax at the end process to help seal the threads. For the cleaning solution today we're going to be using Gratex 4012 reducer. Okay, so the first thing I always do is remove the needle. This part we don't have to worry about, so I'm going to remove this. Now gently I'll pull it out. Sometimes that can be stuck with dry paint, so be very careful. Once I've removed the needle, I give it a quick clean with a little dip with paper towel. And then I give it a quick clean, quick polish in the pads. After I've removed the needle, I like to put the cup in the cleaning solution, and then I remove the nozzle and I allow that to soak. While that's soaking, we're going to pull apart the rest of this, okay, and that turns out to be a bit tight, so give me 1 second. And we're back. Now when you have a stubborn part of your airbrush, it won't come. Pliers is what I end up using, but you don't want to just use pliers directly, okay? You want to be very gentle with this. Use a cloth. There we go, okay? Not much pressure used. Oop. There we go. These parts, these don't need to go into the solution. Nor does that. Nor does the trigger. And nor does this. Again, stubborn. Slight twist. Next to no pressure, just a slight grip. Okay, very tight. Second part. Again, this whole airbrush is very, very, very dirty today. Again, a slight change. Parts in there. I'm going to use the needle backwards. I'm going to pop out the piston. She's in there now. And that can soak as well. Okay, firstly I'm going to clean the cup. I'm going to use one of my toothpicks for this. Now you can see it's dirty. The airbrush hasn't been performing well. Now I can see why. The reducer's helping breaking down the paint, and it's still gentle on the seals. Starting to get there now. Next we're going to use the needle. I'm just going to gently find the seat and just feel if there's any dirt in there. It feels very clean actually, feels good. That one's okay. So I'm happy with that. We're going to use the pipe cleaner to clean out the front and clean out the sides. Rear and through there. Body can dry. We're going to work on the nozzle. We're going to take this apart. Here's where our friend, the Iwata wrench, comes in. It's a very gentle part, this, and it's a very expensive part, so you want to be careful. And she goes. Using reducer on the front, we're going to give it another clean. And you can still see the dirt coming out, even after it's soaked. Going to use my needle on this one. Remember, this is not my main needle, just the old needle, to give that a bit of a opening out. And now we're going to try and work on the nozzle. Now the nozzle's hard to get, okay? This is why we have the tweezers. It's very small. I'm not going to push too much into this, but I am going to use the needle just to see if anything comes out. Now in the past, sometimes with heavy wicked paints and stuff, I've had this build up and you can push the paint out with the needle. This looks very clean, so I'm going to put this back together. You don't want to over tighten this, but it doesn't want to be weak either. Just, there we go, just a little nip. Now for the nozzle cap. Hand tight, that's fine. We're going to put a tiny piece of the beeswax on this. Okay. Perfect. From there, I'm going to start to thoroughly clean the cup again using the cotton buds. This is the Takumi cup. It's the new cup. I find it to be really, really good, actually, to be honest, compared to the standard SB. This has really helped. I don't stop cleaning these until the earbuds are clean, you know. This is always a tricky part to put back in the airbrush. And again, this is where the tweezers come in very handy. In it goes. First time. Wow. Rarely, rarely that happens. I'm going to screw this back on. And I'm going to install the trigger. And we're going to install the needle guide. Oh, mucked it up. Never mind. This has to go in there first. Okay, the guard on the back. Now very gently, I like to put the needle on my finger, rest it, and then very gently push it into the airbrush right to the end. That feels super smooth now. That feels so smooth. From there, bring a cup. A cap. And a valve. Okay, now it's time to tension it all up. Perfect. Now she's assembled, it's time to get her dirty. I find if this process doesn't work, a clean, like a deep soak in Windex or airbrush cleaner overnight usually does the trick. Okay, I hope you found this video useful. Happy airbrushing. Hey, I'm really sorry about this, guys. I forgot to put the spring back in. I mean, wow, happens to all of us, I guess. But now she's in there. I mean, I was a bit like, why isn't the trigger moving? Now we're perfect. Thank you.